Now as you guys can see, the Linux version is quite broken. You cannot navigate through the months. Previous months does not work. Next month does not work. Current month does not work. On the current Windows version, the actual working version, there will be a month display here, which the Linux version does not have. Let's say if we want to create an event, today is November the 12th. Let's say we want to create an event on November the 15th. So November the 15th, and then we say Frederic title. This is just for demo description. Just for demo purposes, tag 1, tag 2, 3. Submit. And we can see that it does not show up on November the 15th. Even though the tags 1, 2, 3 shows up, it does not show up here. So yeah, this is the Windows equivalent of the same application, of the literal same code. As you can see, everything works as expected. Previous month, October 2021, September. The current month brings us back to November because it is November the 12th. Next month, December 2021. If you press next month again, it'll bring you to 2022. And it'll keep going, so on and so forth. So let's say we want to create an event on the 15th, just like a Linux example. We're able to do that. So today we can just say November the 15th, Frederic, title, Windows, Windows, description, tags again, tag X, tag Y, tag Z, very high importance, submit. And as you can see, it shows up here, like what it's supposed to do. When you view it, you're able to view the tags, the day, and the importance level, and also the description and the title. You're able to edit it, so you're able to change any of the information, and it will work as expected. And the tag X, tag Y, tag Z also show up here. And as you can see, this also displays properly. So clearly the Windows version is much more complete than the Linux because several libraries does not support Linux. So Linux also has one critical flaw, is that we're not actually able to log in. So I'll show what I mean here. As you can see, I'm able to access this section of the website because it does not require any authentication. The home page shows up as intended, just like this, just like Windows. But when I sign in, I have a pre-made account, so don't waste your time. 123@gmail.com. The password is 123. When I sign in, it will say database.fun is not a function. This is because the latest version of Passport is not cross-platform, so it does not work. To fix this, we have to go to the package.json and go back to a previous version where it does support both Windows, Mac, and Linux. I will show you what it looks like on Windows, so you know the expected behavior. So this is our app on Windows, as you can see. I'm currently logged in, so I'll log back out. To make things simple, I'll go back to the home page. Just like on Linux, we're able to access this site, this home page. Sign in. I'll use the same preset account, gmail.com, password 123, submit. And I don't get that error. Now, there is not much point of a web application if it's not on the web and accessible by everyone, especially a web application that has a user registration system. So in this step, I will deploy this web application that's currently working. So I have made all the fixes to Linux, and I am planning to make this publicly accessible for everyone and put it on the web, so deploy it. So to get started, I will go to Heroku. Oh, I don't know what happened here. Oh, that was weird. I'll log in. Alright, and then I will create a new application. I'll just call this. Because this application app name kind of determines the URL for the website. It's not true if you pay for it, but I'm not planning to pay for it. I'm going to use a free version. So this app name is quite critical. So I'll call it something like Web Server Term Project. Choose a region. It's either United States or Europe, so United States obviously. And then create app. So this repository is called web server term project. So I will connect with GitHub here, and then I will search web server. If I do dash, it will show up. It should show up. Web server term project. Perfect. I'll just press connect. I'll take a second here. Before I deploy, I actually have to change some settings. So because Heroku's, like the server, they use UTC, and for a calendar, because we're based in Vancouver, we use the UTC -7. So we have to configure. Okay. A real project that's actually developed professionally by a company, they would detect the location and dynamically change the UTC to match. But because our user base is mainly in Vancouver, we can just kind of use a. So yeah, to change the time zone of a Heroku app, the documentation's here. Environment variable called TZ, and this is the location, America/New York. We're not New York, but we're still America. It's not like America, like the country, but the continent. So it's North America. And then we turn back. And we also have to add a port for our application to run properly, because in the index.js, we specified it to be 3001. So we don't necessarily have to change this. We can just add environment variable to tell it to kind of redirect to 3001. We press add, and then that's successfully configured. Now we can go back to the deploy. We can enable or not enable automatic deploys. I'll press enable just because I don't have to come back here every time. Select the main branch and deploy. It will automatically detect that it is Node and install the appropriate dependencies by itself without much interference from the user. Wait a while. Yep, this URL is based on the name that we gave earlier, as I mentioned. So because the build has finished, we will be able to access it. And here it is. Now it's fully deployed on the web. Anybody can view it. I can sign in using the preset account 123gmail.com. Password 123, submit. And yeah, it's everything exactly like the local version, but it's on the internet. To prove this, I'll go to my Ubuntu. And so that'll be web server term project.heroku.com. We'll be able to access it just like on our Windows variant. Sign in, preset account. And yep, exactly the same. It is now on the internet, and Frederic, if you're watching this, you can visit this URL too, because I will keep it active for the duration of the project. So now I'll walk you through the storage for the web application. Back then we put everything in a plain text file, but it was very messy. It was clean because there was only one user, but when we created more than one user to test, the file got cluttered really quickly, so we converted to a JSON format. ID, name, email, password, events, like this. So how this works, how it actually writes to it is in the index.js. Oh, sorry, no, not in the index.js. It's in the controller, event controller. So when a user creates an event, all of the information is detailed here to be written to the .json file. It also checks how many existing users are in there, so it doesn't like keep. It doesn't, the level doesn't keep increasing, like keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. If it's like users, it will have its own separate level to not mix and match, for example here. Yeah. And the web server that we use for this web application is express.js. Why we chose Express and not something like Python, Flask, or Django was because this was actually from a previous course. So the instructor kind of gave us like a very bare bones code that we have to kind of complete functions. Like he gave us maybe the create the delete. And that was like kind of half working, so we have to fix it ourselves and kind of add more features ourselves. So we kind of like were just given, like we were kind of just made to use express.js. And because we use express, every function that we did, like the actual features that we did here, let's say when we want to create an event, like when we create a title, description, tags, everything, every function, and every feature is written in Node.js. If you press view here, this is Node.js. Everything is Node.js. Even the search bar is Node.js. So this will return everything that's in the substring. So, every string that contains this substring. You press search, and it will show up. You're also able to clear the filter, but also able to, if you want one with low importance per se, it will filter to only display low importance. The tags, the date, they're quite self-explanatory. I'll create one on, let's say, November the 16th to do a quick demo. Let's say November 16, 2021. Test demo description, enter tags. Frederic is my instructor. November 16. Let's say high importance. As you can see, it displays here, so users are able to click and view the tags, details, the title, which I have set it to as November 16, 2021. High importance, we're able to edit it. For example, demo description edited. Everything is still the same. Submit, and yeah. So what I'm trying to get at here is that everything you see here is in Node.js. Yeah, it's also important to mention that some libraries were not working with Linux for the NPM libraries. I had to find a Linux equivalent to fix them. Thankfully, most of the errors were quite easily searchable, so I was able to quickly find a solution on Stack Overflow to resolve the issue.